Good morning, everybody. And first thing is thanks for the invitation on this wonderful event here. I will try to give you a snapshot of what we do, what we've done, and what we do, and what we are going to do in Italy to support the ecosystem relevant for the new startups in the space economy. Here, just to let you know what Italy did in the space. Just to let you know that we are here now just because we have the history here. Since the beginning of 50 years, we had space activity in Italy. In the 60s, we had the first Italian satellite launch. That was the third country to launch a satellite in the world after the United States and the Soviet Union. In the 70s, we were one of the founders of ESA. And then 88, there was the institution of the Italian Space Agency, like you know now, with this old logo, after some other important mission. And at the end, I put some of the mission in the early 2000. International Space Station collaboration. We were through the ESA collaborating for the International Space Station, but also directly with NASA. And the investment made 30 years ago on that brought our companies now to be one of the main actors for the new commercial space station upcoming. So just to let you know that I'm here and I can show you what we've done for the ecosystem, because there was a lot of person, a lot of investment before me, okay? I just got into the ASI in the last 20 years. This is the Italian Space Agency. We are, let's see, doesn't work, I don't know. In any case, 300 person working at ASI, mainly in the quarter or other center. Most important is Matera, which is a center for geodesy, but we also have still a space center in Malindi, Kenya, where in the 60s we were launching satellite. Now we are not launching any more satellites, but it's a very important relay data center for downloading data from satellites. But I want to talk about the space program, okay? I'm here to talk about space economy. So there have been a shifting in the last, let me say, 6, 7 years. There's no fixed data. Shifting from space programs to space economy. Why? Because we have increasing resources for privates, and also some financial firms starting to look for return profit from the space investment. But also because we had new global drivers. Which one? We've seen these, at least for example. We got cost reduction in space activities, reduction on launch costs, increasing our use of rockets, for example, and also the small CubeSat or nanosat. Now you can send a satellite 10 centimeter, 10 in orbit, doing something that maybe 30 years ago you had a satellite over 2 meters. New investments. We are a venture capital fund investing in space tech, yes, but also the rise of these new barons, so all the big name of the digital economy that started investing in space, their private resources, okay? And also an enormous number of investors looking to put money into the space. Other driver, new application. We saw a key role for what concerns the digital economy. Concepts like artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data are now used in space activities, specifically what concerns the downstream. And also the integrated application, because we see that some new business are using integration between observation data, navigation, and communication. And at the end, we have some other driver related to the, let's say, geopolitics. I mean, we have a lot of plans for commercial space station. Axiom is launching one, and Thales Alenia Space, the main logistics system integrator, is working and putting actually the knowledge made on the International Space Station 20 years ago now to selling commercially these modules on the space. And also, we have planned for explore the Moon and the Mars and stays there. What does it mean? If we stay on the Mars and the Moon, we need everything that we have now on the Earth. So everything. That's why it's a huge market for all companies thinking how to bring the things that we have here over there. So we have to adjust our policies as public, but also private has to adjust their business. So this is our vision. We have all these, let's say, requirement here. We are talking about upstream and downstream and space-derived, okay? They are the same sector space, but they are completely different. And in the future, they will become more different, each one. We are dealing with startups, with university, polytechnics, and also large system integrator and SME are very important in this context because each of these has a role. It is important for the development of all the ecosystem. The actors, investors, ESA, EU, the financial institution, and now users and customers. We didn't have before in the space customers. Other things, commercialization, industrial policy, and foresight, and understanding the future, this is very important. So we put together all these small ball, okay? We think all these things has to work together. Technology transfer, so bringing technology from space to another sector, automotive, healthcare, financial, insurance, whatever, but also bring technology from the Earth on the space to help to reduce cost. And also because the business on the new space requires lower cost, because also this is one of the drivers. You need to do socioeconomic impact study because you have to understand your investment. They are doing good, they are doing bad, you have to improve, you have to change. Alternative finance, structured debits, venture capital, private, all of this is needed for the system. And also innovation IPR, very important. Non-venture capital fund will invest in a startup if he has not any IPR protected. So this is very important. So incubator, accelerator, all this stuff needs to work together. And you have to work on these different leverages. You have to build your industry ecosystem. You have to work on governance. Yes, PPP is very important, public and private together to develop this. Each one with different role. Technology, you have to push financing research and development, basic one, but also technology development maturation. This is very important. You need finance, and you need also regulation, because some of the new business and new space economy still has to be regulated. Just think about only in situ research, for example, going to Mars, taking something, bringing back. Is it possible? Who is belonging this? We don't know. Also, getting close to a satellite that is orbiting. That is the new market, okay? In orbit economy. Many companies, many startups, actually the first Italian unicorn is going to be in this company, in economy. But there are points to be discussed, because if you get closer to a satellite which is friendly, you can also go close to another satellite which could be unfriendly. So this poses question that to be regulated, okay? Getting back to the space economy, just to give you some definition. I mean, this is has changed a little bit the definition of what is space economy. We got the handbook of 2012 or OECD, which we are part of, Space Forum, so we contributed to this. And the new handbook, 2022, is gonna come out in weeks, I guess, with a definition which is a little bit different. And here is the main definition of what is the space economy. So we have the upstream sector, is easy. Everything that flies, easy. The downstream is everything that gets into the Earth. So you get something in the middle, because you have also services to hold these satellites orbiting. This still is upstream. So there are certain, limit on data. It depends on how raw are these data. They are upstream or downstream. And also you have the space-derived activities, which is everything that relied on space technology or space data. And now you can think on everything, okay? Also, food delivery company could be considered as a space-derived activities. You have to put a limit in some way, yeah? See this number here, just to show you that there's no any number, fixed number. Oh, we don't know. Any institution has its number, 400, 300. Why? Because it's very difficult to do this perimeter, and we are still working on it. Also, we have on Morgan Stanley that says 1 trillion, okay. Yeah, there's nobody working on Morgan Stanley here. We don't take as a Bible that, okay? Because it's very foresight. Maybe it could happen, but many things has to happen to let this 1 trillion happening. But also because there are other institutes, the IDA, that says, hey guys, you are making mistakes. Just cut 50% off what the number you're saying. I want to show you this because has been asked to me. This is the outcome of a very interesting study made by Italian Space Agency together with University of Milan. And many times on internet you find numbers, how many euro get each euro invested in space. You find many numbers, okay? We did a very exact calculation. We did the 14 years coverage, all the contracts made by ASI, all the contracts made by HISA. The University of Milan got into balance sheet of every company. They did a very long study. At the end, what happened is one. We are not talking about revenues. We are not talking about added value. We are not talking about any other thing. We are talking about EBITDA. You know whose business here is very cash flow, okay, more or less. So the benefit-cost ratio for what concerns the upstream is 1.36. And it's only direct effort. It's a huge number. Just consider, I'll let you show you after. For the other program, high-tech program, we are in the 1.15. And another important thing is, if you build a satellite, you put in the space, you don't turn on, you still have this number. So just building the satellite and just doing this activity brings you, for what concerns benefit-cost ratio, very positive. And I don't talk about downstream or Earth observation, because over there the number is much more higher. We still are working on it, okay? I guess the time is running out, but this is what I said already before. So the LHC of CERN has 116 in 20 years. And it doesn't include indirect effort, induced effort, technology no effort, spillover, and whatever. So investing in space for public is positive, but also for the company, because EBITDA is a company cash flow. We did a lot of operation for what concerned in new space, the Fondazione Amaldi, the merger and acquisition operation with Space Lab Avio, put into the stock market. The Primo Space Fund is the second venture capital fund dedicated to space. The first one in the UK, Seraphim. Is now operating since 1 year. He made already 6 investments, all of them in upstream. Very complicated, if I have another minute, very complicated chart. This is the maturity of a startup from the left. On the right. On the left, you have the idea. You wake up in the morning and you say, I have an idea to use a space. You stay there. Over there, there's a large system integrator, big company. So this is the maturation period. And those are all the actions that we put in place. Incubators, accelerators, venture capital creation, and more. Just to tell you, I never seen a company started from me and arrived there, okay? This is just an engineering model. Perfect. It doesn't work like this. Company can get in the middle, at the beginning, at the end, getting back. So, but there's one thing I want to underline. The role of the public is different. On the left side, you can go with financial support, because nobody or the private is going to risk investing over there. The public has to do. It's a job. When you move on the right side, you get back with the financial. It's much more the big guy getting in, but your role is important as an architect and catalyst for others. So, just to conclude, some elements. This is the new space revolution 2020s, like it was in the early 2000s for the digital. We believe it's going to be the same thing. There's a fundamental role of public as a market enabler, early supporter, and catalyst. The private has to take in over the financing scale up, okay, and put in efficiency into the system. Because if, the major thing is venture capital has to decide that a privately one, otherwise they don't work. We are moving business models for the private startup. We are moving from building an infrastructure and selling service. No, we are moving to space as a service, satellite as a service, data as a service. I buy what I need. In the United States, they say pay as you go. And when you move, scaling up, moving from the left to the right, okay, incubators, accelerators, and venture capital funds, you need higher finance, yes, but you need that geography move from local, incubators are local, that's fine, Latvia is fine, having the first incubators, but when you move ahead, you have to open your border, because you need international support, you need to discuss with other a best practice for international. So when you move from left to right, you have to get bigger. And the last thing, upstream and downstream, space derived are different business, even though we call space economy, but they are dealing with different market. You know, the downstream deal with mass market, deal with customer, we deal with citizen. Upstream is more directed to intermediate companies, so it's a different matter. That's why we need also that the venture capital funds specialize in different sectors. So that is the conclusion of my presentation. I guess if you have questions, we can do it later on, right?
Yes. Please applause.